I got laid off from my first job out of college. I worked in finance. So in finance, the base salary is pretty low and then you get a decent bonus at the end of the year. My boss called me and I was expecting it to be my yearly bonus, but instead I got laid off.
I was laid off at 6 months pregnant. Yes, you heard that right. 6 months pregnant. You know, the same song, same dance. If you were in corporate, if you're in tech, if you're in sales, it's like you can't even take it personal. But I took it personally because my job knew that I was expecting and that I was further along. First thing that came to my mind was, ooh, I'm gonna lose my paid maternity leave. Wait, I'm not getting paid at all anymore.
I got laid off from my corporate job this week, the day before my vacation. So that's really fun. I had been with the company for 2 years. There were literally no indications that there were going to be layoffs on my team. I had a full workload. The CEO of the company actually had a meeting with everybody. We had an all hands a couple weeks ago, and he said we weren't going to have promotions this year because he wanted to avoid having mass layoffs because the industry is doing so poorly. And he specifically called out my division of the company for being the only division that was going to hit their target. And I just don't have any trust for corporate America anymore. I have my trust is just gone, because how can you look at somebody and say your division is the only one that's doing well, but we're not going to have layoffs, and then you have layoffs.
I was just laid off an hour and a half ago. There was a company-wide town hall meeting scheduled last night, and then this morning our CEO came on the town hall and said that there would be layoffs and that you'd be receiving either an email to your personal account in a few minutes telling you you were impacted, or you would receive an email to your work account telling you that you weren't impacted. So I sat there and kept refreshing, and I knew the second they said there was layoffs, I knew I was going to be part of the layoffs. I got really lucky in the last startup that I worked. I made it 4 rounds. There were 4 rounds of layoffs in that company, and I got cut on the 5th, so that was good. Now this startup has their first round of layoffs, and I'm in that.
Can we talk about how traumatizing it is to lose your job while on maternity leave? I had my son nearly 2 years ago. I was supposed to have a 4-month leave, which is incredible in the United States. If you're here, you know, and if you're not from here, you're like, what? 4 months is incredible? Yes, it's amazing. And on month 3, I was just hanging out with my newborn one day, doing tummy time, and found out that I lost my job. Now, I'm the primary income earner for my family, so that is so scary, obviously at any point, but with a newborn baby, I immediately had to end my maternity leave and hop online to find a new job. I've spoken to tons of people that were like, oh my God, you handled it so well, you got back on the horse. But now that my son is almost 2, and so many people who were pregnant at the same time as me either already have their seconds or are getting pregnant now with their seconds, I am so scared to ever have a baby again. There's no point where I will ever be safe to have a baby. I have noticed that since posting about getting laid off while I'm at leave, many women share that experience. It is honestly so traumatizing, and I don't know how I'll ever get over it and have another baby.
I really can't think of a worse scenario than to be laid off right before you bring a new life into the world. Just think about that. You're about to bring a new human being into the world, and you're laid off. And there's some pretty sucky ways to be laid off. We're gonna get into those in a second, but this to me just seems like the worst possible way. Not to mention to be the primary breadwinner. So it's not as if you are supplementing the family income with your job, you get laid off. Okay, no big deal. It sucks, but you're okay. But to be the primary breadwinner and to be laid off while having a newborn baby, I can see why she has PTSD and why she may never want to have another kid, which is it's crazy to say and actually sad, because that's a terrible reason to not have another kid or to be afraid to have another kid.
It didn't really hit me until now, because my coworkers started messaging me. I lost my appetite after that. I still haven't had a call with my manager yet, but my biggest takeaway is don't let your job work you. What's even more messed up is they laid me off right before rewards and bonus season. And also they're deducting my severance pay from 2 weeks or something, so I'm really not even getting that much severance. And yes, I work at a big tech company. You can probably guess where I got laid off from. Also, they laid me off at the beginning of my vacation as I took off, so I have my severance package, but I can't receive it until I return the laptop, the corporate card, that stuff. But how am I supposed to do that? And I lose access to any work-related information this week, and I'm not in New York. Corporate America really gives zero It's about you. They worked me to the bones for a high value client and then just got rid of me.
This job seems very grimy. It seems like they were like, you know what, we're getting our PTO back. You might be on vacation and having fun, but guess what? All that vacation time you're getting paid on us, on our dime, taking it back. That's crazy. Not only did she get laid off right before they were giving out bonuses, which you can't tell me that wasn't planned. I don't know how their payout structure works, but if she got laid off right before bonuses were given out, and it sounds like to me, because of that, she's not going to receive the bonus, that's just grimy. Not to mention, she said something there about how they're going to deduct her severance from something. In other words, they're going to reduce the amount of money they have to pay her out. That's the moral of the story. So not only did you get laid off, which already sucks as it is, not to mention you get laid off while you're on vacation, which really sucks. You also get the hit that you're not going to be getting the money that you're deserved via your bonus, via your severance. Now this is bad. Trust me, this is not as bad as the first lady who got laid off during maternity. Like I said, I can't really think of many things that are worse than that. If you can't, let me know in the comment section, because right now I'm having a difficult time thinking about anything that's worse than that. But to be laid off on vacation, I mean, that really sucks.
So I got laid off from my job out of nowhere yesterday in the middle of my shift. It was a normal day. I was working, and then suddenly my function lead sends a message in chat and the Teams chat, and says, "Hey, mandatory meeting in 15 minutes." And I was like, that's weird, but we've had meetings before. So as I log into the meeting and I'm waiting.
Now it depends what industry you're in, but whenever you get those meetings that are emergency meetings at the end of the day, you already know it's bad news. I worked for a corporate company and I wasn't part of their layoffs, but I was part of the affair. So in other words, they were laying off a large group of people. And what they did was wait till the very end of the day. I think it was a Friday before people were going to go off on the weekend. And they called an emergency meeting. And you know what happened next.
I'm waiting. I noticed that they started logging us out of like all of our work stuff. And as soon as I saw that, my heart sank, because I kind of figured I knew what was next. So this bald man that I've never seen in my life hops on the call and tells us like, "Hey, thank you for joining. Very saddened to say, but we are restructuring, blah, blah, blah. And everyone is laid off effective immediately." It was like almost 200 people.
You know, whenever I hear a company say we're restructuring, it's almost like when you're going through a breakup and the person says, "It's not me." Sorry. The person says, "It's not you, it's me." That's what that reminds me of. We're going through a corporate restructuring. They never tell you what the restructuring is, just that they're going through a restructuring.
And we literally were told, like, that's it, you're done. Luckily, we're getting paid till Friday, but it was just like that, like literally nothing, no warning, no nothing. And I've been laid off twice before, but it was easy for me to guess that it was coming. Like I kind of saw it coming. The first time was during COVID, so it makes sense because a lot of people got laid off during COVID. And then the time before that, I worked for a small business, and you know, I started to see them kind of start to lose business and stuff like that. Our checks were bouncing, so I figured we were gonna get laid off soon. So this was the first time I've been laid off, and just completely shocked. I was self-employed for 5 years before this job. I've been with them for 8 months, but my small business is not doing well right now. It hasn't been doing well for about a year and a half, and I got this job for security, to have income and to kind of just supplement my income until I build my business back up to where I need it to be, or figure out what's next for my business. I don't know if I qualify for unemployment because I have a small business, and because I was only working with them for 8 months, and before this I was fully self-employed for 5 years, and unfortunately there's no unemployment for self-employed people when things stop working out. So I'm trying my best to not go into straight survival mode and just start doing things erratically. I've seen this happen to people on TikTok where they get laid off out of nowhere, and it does feel worse than what I imagined, because you just don't expect it, and it happens. And you know, no matter why you're working for a reason, and it just sucks knowing that that security is gone for me now.
So a misnomer she keeps repeating that I think she may realize is not really a thing and it doesn't actually exist. It's like a unicorn or the chupacabra or Bigfoot. You might think it's real, but it's not. And essentially that is job security. She said it multiple times. There's really no such thing as job security. Now, she comes from a situation where she's been self-employed for an extended period of time. So maybe to her, working a W-2 job or a 1099 job, 9 to 5 is job security. But as we all know, at least those of us who work W-2 jobs, there's really no such thing as job security, if we're being honest. Now, the good thing is she has experience. She can go find another job, hopefully, and she can be fine, you know, that way. Hopefully she doesn't start to spiral because this is all new to her. But yeah, I think she'll learn quite quickly that yeah, job security doesn't exist.
I moved across the country from New York City to Dallas for a job that laid me off after about 2 months of working for them. When I got the offer, I was like, yes, new city, new opportunities, main character, energy. But apparently I was just an extra in my own storyline because they laid me off with the quickness. Girl, they laid me off quicker than I could find my favorite Trader Joe's, my favorite nail salon, favorite hair store. Everything happened so fast. So now I'm in Dallas with a new lease, no job, and a lot of free time. And that was not on my bingo card. It could have at least happened after I furnished my entire apartment, because Lord knows I love a cozy home. But I didn't feel scared or overwhelmed when I got the news, but it was a surprise. So while I feel at peace with the layoff, I do think I was brought to this city for a reason. And also, I'm very self-aware, and I know my taste level. So I know my taste level is having some issues assimilating with the reality of my income right now. I know it's temporary because a girl like me always lands on her feet, but I can't act as if it didn't shock me and that this isn't an absolute plot twist. Moral of the story, life will humble you, but at least I can still dress cute while figuring it out.
So I want to know more about what happened here. She flew across the state for a new position, and within 2 months they gave her the boot. I wonder if she took a risk on this position and moved knowing that there was a likelihood that she could be laid off. Maybe it's a startup, who knows, maybe it's some kind of sales position, or maybe it's some, I don't know what it is honestly, but I'm curious to know, because it really sucks to fly across the country to start a new job, to start your life over like it seems, to find your new hair place, your new dress place. By the way, like she said, she needs a job because she seems like she likes to spend money. If she said it herself, but it's crazy, right? So I don't know, if you're gonna travel across the country for a new position, I mean, you want to make sure that it's stable. And I guess there's only so much you can do, especially when everything is at will employment. Anytime any one of us can be cut from our jobs. So I get that. I just wonder if she had more if she had more foresight to know whether or not this could be a possibility. And if she did, maybe she just took the chance, who knows? But if she didn't know and she was blindsided by it, like a lot of people were blindsided in this video, then that really sucks. Because I mean, you're in a new place, you don't really have people around you to depend on, or a couch to lay on if you need to. Not saying she, maybe she has savings or something like that, but, or unemployment, although it's only been 2 months. I'm not sure how long I don't want to get into technical difficulties of it, but like I said, it sucks. With that being said, if you stuck around this long, I appreciate it. I hope that you're not going through what these people are going through. And if you are, I feel for you. I know it's a tough job market out there, and the last thing you want is to be laid off. So hopefully we're all staying strong out there. And with that being said, if you liked the video, please feel free to give it a like and to subscribe. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.